What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Ehi, coming live with Journey with Trish, the podcast in Houston. So super excited to be back with you tonight. Got a special guest that I'm so super excited to introduce to everybody tonight. But before I get started, let me go ahead and give you my medical disclaimer. Either myself, Patricia Reed, aka Miss Ehi de Jimenez, Journey with Trish, the podcast, or our guest, Lavish, and we'll let him tell you all about him. Nobody's here to give you any type of medical or psychiatric advice. If you have any type of medical or psychiatric emergencies, I would defer you to your nearest provider or call 911 or visit your emergency room because I'm not your provider tonight. All right, let's get into it. Tell me. Oh, don't forget, like, comment, follow, share, and all that good stuff because we got some information. We got a topic that every woman, married, single, divorced, whatever your relationship status, everybody needs to hear this topic. Tell me who we have here with us tonight.
My name is Lavish. I'm the owner of a Facebook social group called Bosses and Baddies, Houston Bosses and Baddies. Former DJ, former artist, and I also own Lavish Chick Clothing and Lavish Touch Massage.
Okay. Houston, Boston, and Baddies is kind of how I won't say met because this is actually our first time meeting, but how we connected. Tell everybody because this group has almost 11,000 people. How long has the group been going?
We started in August, so it's been growing pretty fast.
And what made you start the group?
I came from running two other groups, and I wasn't the owner of the groups, so it just became time that I went my own direction. I started, me and the former owner of a previous group, we were just headed down two different paths. So,
okay.
I did my own thing.
You want to tell them because, it was good for me when I joined the group because of the podcast and because of business and being able to connect with other business owners. But it's actually a great social network in general, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, we don't want to. We support businesses and we try to help people network with each other. But we're also I started off doing events, so I would do pool parties and game nights and things like that. So we're not just a business group, but we're not just a going to lounges group either. We try to uplift each other. We do community work. We go feed the homeless and we do donation drives and things like that. So we're a group that we're just some everything.
And that's Houston Bosses and Baddies.
Yes, ma'am.
Saying it right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into. Oh, did you want to tell us a little bit about Lavish Massage and Lavish Chic Clothing?
Well, the Lavish Chic Clothing is a women's line that I started. We actually have a website that we're producing right now. Lavish Touch massages are recreational. They aren't licensed massages. They're more for just relaxation. You won't be getting no pain relief from a specialist, but it's more so it's mobile massages, different setups where it's R&B music, meditation music, stuff like that. So it's more convenient. If you ever just had a long day, we do targeted areas, your feet hurting from being on them all day or whatever reason, back, anything. So you can get targeted massages and just relax. We got candles, wine, and then the good R&B from the 90s and 2000s.
All right. How do you book with Lavish Massage?
I have the contact information on a flyer. I can send it to you.
All right, cool. So tell me about Lavish. How old are you?
I'm 37.
37 years old. And our topic tonight, in case you can see it on the screen, everybody, but our topic is, of course, this is our Softness, Sexuality, and Submission episode. But the topic tonight is when men heal. And if you do follow me on social media, you see when I posted the flyer, what I said was that as women, a lot of women, not all women, got to say that, but a lot of women, what we'll say to men is, listen, I don't want no drama. I don't want no toxicity. I'm going to need you to go heal first. You need some therapy. Boy, you got daddy issues. We list all of these things and tell men what they should do. Go work on yourself, bruh. But then, when sis, who thought she was healed too, when said, bruh, says, you know what? I'm really feeling you, but I think you're right. I really need to go take some time and work on myself, and then maybe we can revisit this. I've seen a lot of women, and if I'm being honest, there have been times in my past when I had a lot of times in my past when no matter what they said, no matter how many times they said, it's truly not you, it's me. I still tried to
Mm.
make it about me. You know
You
what I do, why you don't like me, why you don't want me. And so I wanted to know, have you ever experienced anything like that?
know, um, in regards to me feeling like, hey, I feel like I still need to heal, and then a woman taking it like it's something pertaining to her.
Taking it personal.
No, I acknowledge that. I do be upfront and let people know, I got some traumas from my childhood and my previous relationships. But as far as I'm concerned, like I don't believe that there is a complete healed state that you can get to. I'm constantly healing.
I love that you say that because I have said that and just recently I came to that conclusion. Because what's your relationship status?
Engaged.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so I have said that coming out of a divorce, that we definitely got to heal first, heal first, heal first. But
Mhm.
then what I started thinking about is like, do you ever really totally heal from something? Like, there's always going to be some remnants. Crazy thing
Mhm.
is, if I have triggers, I don't know that it's still a trigger until
Until
it's
you
presented to me.
experience it.
Until you trigger, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I don't. I think the only way you can truly heal is if you have the ability to completely forget something, because then it can no longer affect you. But as long as you can remember something, I personally don't think you can fully heal. There's going to always be some traces of it there.
I believe that. I believe that as well. So tell me, because you have a whole list that you put out earlier today. Let me see if I can get back to it. Hold on one second. We're just gonna go down
What
the list.
list?
You put out a list today, and it's the Welcome to Statistics 101. I'm your teacher, Lavish.
I was playing.
No, we're gonna go through the list. So the first thing on the list says, now I'm sure these statistics might be a little off, but what you said
Yeah.
was 96% of all men and women are unstable. What say you?
Now that I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think that majority of people are broken. Um, I said 96% on the status.
You said nine. That means like damn
I,
near
I'm,
everybody.
I'm, I would say about 98%. But I do think that most people walk around with some type of trauma. Um, so yeah, unstable.
Because we're
A lot of people aren't emotionally mature too. So that's just my personal experiences.
okay. So I would say that there are some people, like you said, maybe not completely healed, but there are some people who have reached a level of emotional intelligence. I would argue that are not unstable. To me, unstable means like you just all over the place. Like one day you up, one day you down. You address relationships based on your emotions instead of actually thinking. You hear negatively all the time. To me, that would be more unstable
Well, I
than just
look at unstable as just not in control of your emotions. Like you still react to stimuli versus being able to say, how they say, don't let it stress you, but you can't really control it. I don't think most people can actually decide what stresses them or not. Don't let that affect you, or don't let nobody take you out your element, or don't allow this to hurt you. But I don't think we really have too much control over it unless you can turn your feelings off. And I don't think most people can.
so it's definitely a process. And while because it's something that I've worked on a lot, and I will say that there are some times when I thought I was there, but like I said, when I'm triggered, there are still sometimes I'm ashamed of the way I respond to things still, you know. But definitely, I think that as we get older, if you do the work, I believe that you become better able to control your. As far as her, I don't know. I've asked myself, I don't even know if I, at this point in my life, I don't even know if I can like genuinely be hurt again because I
Really?
do think that I've like just turned my feelings off, you know?
You must have been through some traumatic stuff.
It's been a journey, but the thing about that is the only way to truly, because I mess around and play around a lot in the Facebook group, Houston bosses and baddies, everybody, about looking for somebody and going out and nobody being there. But in all actuality, I'm really not looking to be in any type of relationship now. Companionship, somebody to hang out with would be nice, but keep them on. Ronald Lou said, "Keep them on." I don't know what you're talking about, Ronald, but he said, "Keep them on." But yeah, I'm not really looking to be in anything. But yeah, if I'm going to be, I do have to get to a better place of you got to be vulnerable. Like you can't be in a relationship and not be vulnerable.
Exposure. So yeah,
Hmm.
I
And you
agree.
can't control, like you really can't control whether or not don't you can't look at nobody and be like, oh, you know what, he good to me or she good to me or they really love me and they're not gonna hurt me. We all are capable of hurting people.
Whether it's intentional or not,
Hmm.
I think you winning when you find someone who you truly can trust won't intentionally hurt you, which is I think is a rare thing.
It is a very, very rare thing because people are selfish, and I think there should be some level of selfishness, but not completely selfish. So
Um, I agree. I agree. You're not promised tomorrow, so you should definitely have some form of selfishness to you, but
mhm.
not when it's at the extent or the expense of anybody else. I think that's wrong.
Absolutely. If somebody reaches out to me, and I know a lot of times they might feel like BSing, but like I'll tell people straight up, like just like that Anthony Hamilton song, like I'm a mess right now. I'm straight up with people when it comes to that. Like, yeah, perhaps one day we can hang out, we can chill, but as far as anything else, yeah, I'm not there yet because
Really,
I don't trust anybody. I don't even want to. I have no desire to trust anybody right now.
I mean, life will show you you can't like to find somebody that you can truly trust. It's like a rare gem that when you come across them, like you really got to cherish that person. I will say, I've met even just in the year of 2024. I must have shook hands, had conversations, shared laughs, gave hugs to hundreds of people through my events. And it came down to where I felt like there was one that I can truly trust that I believe is for me and won't hurt me intentionally, and this is out of, I would have to say, upwards of three or 400 different people. So I do feel like it's just a very rare thing to be able to give somebody your complete trust.
It is. Biz, I don't know why. I think with it's going through StreamYard, for some reason, it's not allowing you to send stars. I'm gonna check it out next week to see. People have been so yeah. There was when I posted the flyer in the Houston in the Facebook group.
Mhm.
There was a response, and I don't remember her name, but she said, "Well, men need to be more honest. Needs to be more upfront about their feelings." So tell me what you think about, when people do like you start with these like non-commitment ships, situationships, and you like, all right, you do you, I do me, we just kicking it, we just chilling, no titles. But then inevitably somebody is
Mhm.
gonna catch feelings, right? And so then it's like, well, I know what you said, but you did this. But at the same time, what else do you like? It's either, and I always say talking is a dangerous thing. The more you talk, the more you spend time together, the more you're at risk for catching feelings. What you think about that?
Mhm. I agree. Um, I know men personally who they're completely honest and they still get made to be the bad guy.
Mhm.
When I think that what'll happen is you meet a man or even a woman. I've seen women that be like brutally honest too, and they say what it is up front, but people have it in their head like, "Well, I can change so and so,"
Mhm.
or I'm different, and then they get their feelings hurt with a reality check, and so they still make it out to be where that other person is the bad person. And I definitely agree. I don't believe in going out looking for nothing. Even with my situation, my relationship, it was just spending time hanging out, enjoying each other's company, conversations. You said talking is dangerous. So I feel like if you go out looking for something, you're more vulnerable to getting manipulated by somebody or falling for somebody is what I say representative. Um,
Mhm.
I think you don't truly know somebody until you see them in all their emotional states and you go through some different experiences with them. All that other stuff is just a representative.
And then it's so risky. Like, it's like, and you said you're 37.
Correct.
Okay, I'm 49 years old. So it's
Mm.
not as to me, it's not as safe as it used to be, especially I was gonna say like especially if you like dating in a younger um age group, but like I don't feel as comfortable. Like if I go out with somebody, you're not picking me up. I'm gonna meet you there. We're gonna chill out and hang for a minute. If I drive home, I might circle around,
Mhm.
one of the highways 30 times to make sure you ain't following me. Like I overthink that much. So yeah, like I gotta feel safe for one thing, and I'm just not even at the point to where I feel safe. So
I don't think you. I look. I agree with you. You got to be cautious out here. Again, society has shown that when you walk out the door, the chances of finding somebody that's going to actually like be concerned about your safety and genuinely be for you and your well being, I feel like it's like slim to none. So when you take those extra levels of precaution, I think that's what you should do, especially being a woman. And I'm not trying to like down women or anything like that, but it's just I feel like yes, be on your guard at all times.
mhm, I believe you have to. All right. Well, I was hoping we would disagree on something because it's always good when somebody has a difference of opinion. But keep going. 94% of all men or women can't be faithful. That's the real number too.
94, from
You
what
said
I've seen,
94%.
yes, what I've seen running these groups, it's bad out here. When they say welcome to Houston to everybody with everybody,
Uh huh.
like it's not just a lyric to me anymore. I see it. Um, I've been running groups since I think 2021 is when I started helping as a moderator in another Houston group. And then from there, I started a joint venture with somebody and I started my own in August. But I've seen a lot. And yeah, no, I think it's too many options. Social media making people too accessible. Too many broken people that aren't even seeking any healing. So, and I think that the level of masculinity in women is increasing and men are extremely emotional. I think 97% um, can't do it. I don't.
Let's talk about that because I think I put that in my post too. As far as women referring to, we say men have gotten real sassy and women have gotten harder. But now, everybody, even me personally, like I like want to be soft again because all of that, I'm an independent woman. I can do everything. That is cool, and I'm proud of that.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna tell you, if there's any younger people out there, as a 49-year-old about to be 50-year-old auntie, you will burn yourself out. You will get very tired. It is very nice to have some help. So yeah, I'm not like I want somebody to open my doors for me, and I want somebody to take out the trash and pump the gas. Like there are some things that men do other than just sex that do make life easier. So I'm all for the softness.
I think that too many people have fallen into this mindset where they think a man role is to provide. When they say that word provide, I don't like it because most people have attached the concept of providing to a financial thing, right? So, like to me, what I tell my woman, what we agree on is like what I provide to you is not just some financial one. She don't need me financially. You feel what I'm saying? So what I give her is emotional support. You know what I'm saying? I listen. I give her motivation. I'm nurturing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm affectionate to her. So what I provide is not in a financial sense, but I still provide a lot to her. Unfortunately, I think most people think that providing is just giving money, and it's playing a part on why the dating scene is horrible right now.
I say that all the time. And I actually have taken some responsibility for it and, the generation before me, because,
Mhm.
we've kind of told women, the girls, younger women, you got to find somebody that's going to be able to provide. Like you need that. You ain't just go out here with nobody that ain't got no job, a good job that can't take care of you. And so now these younger, like the millennials and younger, like they have really latched on to that. But now, like, I don't mean that to my 20-year-old daughter or my 23-year-old daughter. I don't expect her to go out and be able to meet somebody that's already established, unless you like a dope boy or something like that, or maybe you went and started working in a factory or something real, early on. But I don't expect that. And so if you're in a relationship at your younger age, I think that it's totally skewed. And I do believe that that's why so many men are like, yeah, like you want what I'm not able to give you. I think my friend always says it's crazy to me how a woman who's paying 100% of the bills doesn't want to accept somebody that can help them pay 50.
Mm. Y'all don't agree with that. That's crazy. I not you specifically, but I blame the older generation too, because it's like as society started changing to where women were being more empowered and able to be independent financially, the older generation didn't teach us how to adapt with the change of times. So women became more masculine and started moving like men do. Now they got multiple partners, or they go from partner to partner like it's nothing to them. Or I hear women that say, I just like the way he looked. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna try that on a sexual level, send him about his way. And then they didn't teach men how to adapt to a woman not needing them financially, because we see what they said our grandparents doing, where the man took care of the house financially. And it's not like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but they never said, hey, this is what a man looks like in these day and age. So they just left us out there to learn on our own. And unfortunately, social media and TV is making it worse. Like we learning from out there, and it's not doing too much justice right now.
And I think like we're really not looking back at, like, there were a lot of, some black people that had some money, educated black people. But if you really think about a majority of, the people before, generations before us, they didn't live, they might have lived what appeared to be happy, but they didn't live the lavish lifestyles that
Correct.
black people are living today. Many of them were not educated. They didn't have that type of money. And so, yeah, grandma or back, whatever, mama, whatever she was back then, she was able to stay home, but were they taking these Disney World vacations? Were they going to Turks and Caicos by themselves or with the whole family? They weren't doing any of
Right.
that. And so it might have been easier. I ain't impressed with the older generations. I'm just not, because there was just as much cheating, if not more, going on back then. That has not changed. And women back then, like they didn't leave. Like it was okay as long as he came home. It was
Hmm.
okay. But that's not as okay anymore. So I ain't
I
impressed by the
personally,
older
I don't
generation.
believe in subscribing to nobody else's blueprint. I do what works for me and mine. So again, like my woman make more money than me, and I'm not ashamed of it. You feel what I'm saying? But we balance each other out. We're partners. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not about a dollar amount. As you said, and during those times, they weren't living certain lifestyles. Life has changed. So, I don't tell nobody that you should live a particular way that was set forth by anybody, especially not a bunch of people from social media. I encourage people to do what works for you and yours. Start there.
Please don't look at it. I don't care how good they look on social media. The fact that you think that they have, when I was married, I would tell people all the time, like, don't look at me in my marriage. You might see us traveling, and he's always there, always very supportive when I had events back home. That was always there. But it wasn't always great. But there were people would inbox me and say you and your husband should write a book, or y'all should podcast together. So yeah, a lot of times people will, because of what they see on social media, they'll be like, oh, that's exactly what I want, you know. So
Yeah, you don't know what it
definitely don't
is
do that.
behind closed doors. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? People look at celebrity couples too and hold them in the air and say, I want a relationship like so and so, or relationship goals. But it's like you don't know. you can't go off what you see presented to the world. You're not gonna see all the problems or the tough communication that got to take place behind the scenes. So yeah, do your own thing as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Next one is 90% of them. 90% of them don't mean what they say. What do you mean by that?
I think people just be talking. Again, I'm using my personal experiences. People say what they need to say in order to get you to do what they want you to do, or they say what they think you want to hear. It's very rare to me, at least, that you find somebody that cares enough about you or loves you enough to tell you the raw truth. People try to water down things or again tell you things to ultimately manipulate you. So yeah, I do feel like 90% of people, they just say stuff for the moment, you know.
Tell people what they want to hear.
Yeah.
I think I'm totally the opposite when it comes to my family, friend, everybody gets to me. I tell too much. I'm like brutally honest. That's something I'm working on too.
Yeah, but see, I think that when it comes to being brutally honest, right? Oftentimes we get looked at as the A word, a hole word, or something like that, or you mean. And I do my delivery can be kind of earth sometimes, but it comes from a good place, And it's I swear, like for you to say that's your personality, it's rare to come across somebody that be like, I tell somebody what it is, just how it is, you know. So I think
I've softened it up a lot over the years. Like I used to be like just straight up no taste chaser, very blunt. I'm still gonna say what I gotta say, want to say, feel like I need to say, but definitely is a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter than I used to.
Yeah, I do it with my kids, soften it up.
So did I ask you as far as healing? So have you ever been like really hurt before in relationships?
Yeah, I got my heart crushed. um, yeah, I got cheated on, and shit broke me. Like to this day, I've still suffered from the effects of getting cheated on by somebody that I held in the air. I've dealt with heartbreak.
How long were you in that relationship?
Like 7 years. Yeah, like 7 years.
And how much distance did you put in that from that relationship in your next relationship?
About, let me see, that was 2022. So just close to 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you do during that time, that 2-year period, to heal?
Nothing. I mean, to intentionally heal, um, meditated. I meditated. I started reading like relationship books, self-help books, watching seminars and stuff like that. Because I was when I say I was broken, like, I've been in that space to hurt so bad that you think it'll be easier not to feel nothing at all than to, keep going through that pain that you're feeling, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I had somebody praying for me. At times I tried to pray for myself, but yeah, that shit hurts still. Like, yeah, I've had it.
And does it? You say it hurts still, and you're engaged now. So how do you handle that now when like when triggers come up? When you already said that a lot of us are still unstable that in that manner and don't know how to, practice emotional intelligence. How do you work on that?
Communication. If I do have a trigger that takes place, I communicate it without reacting based off my emotions. So if I get my feelings hurt, or I get upset behind something that is equated to or related to a trigger, what I'll do is I'll chill. I won't speak on it right away while I'm in that emotional state. Then I'll calm down, and then I'll say, when you did this, this made me feel like this. And also, I remind myself that it ain't nobody else's job to heal me. It's on me. And I can't blame the next person or my current person for, the sins of my previous person. So it's a mental thing that I do. I go through every time I feel like I got my feelings hurt or something is pressing on a trigger. There's these mental things I go through to help me get through it.
Have you ever been to? If you don't have to answer, but have you ever been to a therapist before? Or what are your
No,
views on therapy?
I think uh therapy. I think it's a can be a good thing, but at the same time, I'm against it because it's like, yes, it is good to have somebody to talk to, somebody that can pour into you, especially if you not in the best state of mind. You feel what I'm saying? You need a different perspective at times. I think that's healthy for you. But like the way they do therapy in America or whatever, I don't subscribe to going to see a professional because they're learning from these textbooks. And it's like, I don't want no textbook stuff. I would like the spiritual or some real life experience that you can relate to type of therapy. Like you would get from if you had a grandparent, or just an older person to pour into you and share their experiences, if they travels throughout life or whatever. That type of therapy and guidance, I'm all for. But going to see a professional that went to school and they give you textbook stuff that may not apply to every person, I don't like that one.
Okay. So let me throw in my, kind of that's kind of what I do a little bit. So let me tell everybody why that's not actually the case. Um, you can be a Honda mechanic that's never driven a Honda and learn how to fix. You didn't build it, but you learn how to fix these Hondas, right? You also like we live life experiences not only through us but also through other people. And so these textbooks that you speak of are because there were people who have gone through things for like these centuries and people who study them, and so they were able to put it together, like these textbooks together and these curriculums together, to teach a therapist how to be able to address, like help people heal. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, a therapist is not going to fix you. That's not what a therapist does. What's good about a therapist is that they're non biased, right? They're not going to judge you, they don't know you. So they're just going to tell you not what you need to hear. Like from a professional standpoint, they're going to give you some guidance. And in that guidance helps you figure out how to heal. A lot of people think when you go to a therapist, you're going to sit down and I'm going to say, all right, Lavish, I need you to do this, and this. And you did this, and that was totally wrong. If you go to a therapist and that's what they're doing, leave that therapist. Because the goal of therapy is to help you figure out, help you recognize what's going on, what you're feeling, identify those emotions that you speak of, and do exactly what you've done. Now, you're not gonna lie, you've done an incredible job because we started this with you saying that almost 100% of the population is emotionally unstable and no emotional intelligence. But everything that you've said to me in the past 10 minutes has proven that it's possible to be emotionally intelligent. Because unless you ain't telling me the truth, you there.
I'm trying to be as honest as possible. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think you've done an incredible job.
I think it's important to do it. I had a wake up call. Like when I tell you that I dealt with a heartbreak and I went to that space of having to wonder, would it just be better not to feel nothing at all? I had to focus in on the fact that I'm a father too. So it's like to my kids to get myself together, to shake it by any means necessary. So that's why I poured into, my spirituality and again, watching a lot of seminars and reading books. So because I had to say it's bigger than me, it's not about me no more. So that's why I started putting the work in.
And I would, because a little while ago I said that I don't feel like I can be hurt anymore. And I say that because I feel like I don't like I finally got into a place, and for a little while, like I didn't know if I was allowed, honestly, to be happy. Like people would be like, "Oh, it's too soon. Oh, you should be doing this. Oh, I think like even now, like I do stuff that's fun, and people like, oh, yeah, I better go check on her. Like, oh, she don't lost it. When in actuality, like I'm just really, really enjoying myself and having a good time, and I'm in such a place right now. I don't want nobody to mess that up. Like I don't want to take the risk of having to feel like I felt, you
Mm.
know, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I don't never want to go back there again, you know?
I
So
struggle with something like that too, not for myself, but for my kids. Like after experiencing what I experienced, when I started to come through, I started wondering like to be in love with somebody and have them love you, it feels amazing. But at the same time, it's such a risk because when you lose this person or if they do anything to hurt you, like it can make you feel like you don't want to live anymore. So it was like, damn, do you tell your kids to navigate life and not let nobody in, which ultimately robs them of that amazing feeling it is to be in love, but it
mhm.
protects them from getting crushed too, you know. So it was like shit, how do I advise my kids in this realm? But through my fiance, I found, I got closer to God, so it's in his hands, so it ain't for me to try to dictate their path, just to ask him to guide their footsteps, as she says it.
I need to have her on a podcast
Oh, she's
next.
she's dope.
It sounds like it, and I definitely because at the end of the day, God is love, and so I've definitely got, and I've always had a relationship with God. There have been time. I think I said the other day, the happier I am, the further and further we grow apart, and it's the craziest thing, but it's kind of true. Like when I need Him the most, though, I'm begging Him, I'm crying, and so this time I want to try to make sure that I'm doing it even because I want to do it because I want to stay this way, because I want to stay happy, I want to stay closer to Him. Uh, I do believe that had I been as close to Him as I am now when I started going through those relationship issues, hopefully like maybe I wouldn't have like took it as hard as I did because like I went through it. People think I'm unstable now. It's a crazy thing, but baby, I was really unstable when this happened last year. So yeah.
I
But
agree with you. I'm sorry, I want to interrupt
no,
you.
no, I was finished.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Like, I even find myself feeling that exact same way. Like, if I was closer to God, then I wouldn't have taken it the same extent, right? It wouldn't have hurt as bad because when you're closer to God, you're able to remember He in charge of everything, and everything that happens is something that He allowed to happen for a greater purpose. So even in the moment, it may hurt or frustrate you. If you close to Him and you trust Him, you like it's easier to remind yourself, like, wait a minute, He working. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And when you can have that faith that this is all part of His plan, it takes that thing away. Like even in the realm of running these groups, like it's like people they come and they try to get close to me because I'm the owner, or they try to use me for whatever benefits think gonna come with that. Or if something don't go their way, they down talk me, throw dirt on my name. And in my natural state, they be like, damn, bro, like I'm trying to meet y'all with love, but what helps is remembering it's all part of God's plan. It's for a bigger purpose, so I'm able to brush it off and keep on going. So I agree with you on that.
I definitely think it's important. And I can tell. I When I first moved to Houston, I was going out all the time. I keep losing this page with your there it is. When I first moved here, of the excitement of being in Houston and every day. So I was going out all the time. Like during the week, I'm trying to find somewhere to go. And so then I'm like, girl, number one, you spending too much money. Number two, you ain't healing out there in the streets. And number three, like you getting further and further away from the God who delivered you and allowed you to be able to get here.
Mm.
So when I actually sat down, and as my daughter would say, sit in it. It took my 20-year-old to say, Ma, like you just running. Like you're using all these people to be distractions and you got to just sit in it. And when I did, and when I actually started, worshiping again and reading my Bible and praying, like it actually made the hugest difference. Things that used to upset me now, like it's like, meditating in the morning, everybody is so meditation can do you meditate?
I do.
And how do you meditate?
I shut off well, sometimes I use sounds, but other than that, like I just turn off as many things that can affect my senses as possible. I lay in complete dark and I just like it's I guess it's the same as praying to me, but I just try to eliminate as many, forms of stimuli as possible so that I can really just go into myself and I envision my future, what I wanted to look like. I asked for guidance. I just it's like some time to go within yourself and shut out the outside world. So that's what I do.
Yeah. And I'm gonna get up in the morning. I'm gonna lay there for a minute and just I always ask myself how I feel. Like even before I get up, I ask myself how I feel. I, I address my own emotions. I'm gonna tell myself, "Good morning, good morning, Trish. How you feeling? How's your mental health?" I'm gonna look in the mirror. Talk to myself some in the mirror. I'm gonna like lay in the bed and from like the top of my head all the way down to my toes. I'm just gonna kind of feel my body. Have you ever had a time when something was hurting on you, but as long as you were distracted, you didn't know it was
You
hurting. But
don't
when you
know.
stopped,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I kind of just lay there and just kind of feel, especially when get my age, different body parts hurt that aren't supposed to be hurting. So I just kind of try to feel what's gonna be hurting today, and then I know how to move for the rest of the day. Then I'm going to worship, like I'm listening to gospel music. I'm going to read, and when I'm able to, I'm gonna go and get some exercise. So I kind of try to incorporate all of those things, and all of it is not going to be every day. Don't make me lie, but I'm going to
Mhm.
do some form of meditation every day.
Understood. And to go back to what you said that you were going out and you were using being out and the people around you as a distraction,
Hmm.
but your daughter said you got to sit in it. Like
Hmm.
that's legit how I look at things. Like even when I speak about my heartbreak or my father was murdered in 2023. So with these type of extreme experiences, right? Like rather than look for ways to be distracted, I sat in it. Like I thought about every aspect of it, what I'm saying? And I felt as many emotions behind every detailed, portion of it that I could. So I was like, the more I go ahead and go through that pain, that's part of my healing versus just trying to block it out.
That because that's what a lot of people will do. One of the things when when my dad passed away, my dad passed, but he was buried on Monday, and I left the burial site, went home, changed my clothes, went to a job interview, started 2 weeks later working as a psych MP for the first time, and just kept going. And I've been going. And in that time, I've lost several family members. My mom passed away, and I just kept going and going and going. And that's what a lot of people will do when people pass away. You feel like if I just get up and go to work, keep my mind busy. All you're doing is running from it, being distracted. You still got to deal with it at some point.
I agree. That's what I did with my dad. I had moments where I just sat and I just looked through pictures. I reviewed the case and I just took in, that hurt and that frustration, that anger, so much so that the more I would do it, it'll start to reduce and reduce and reduce to where I wasn't hurting as bad. And behind the guy that did it, I wasn't feeling so much anger or vengeance inside me. And I felt like it was truly because I was, processing the emotions instead of ignoring them. And I was giving it to God, you know.
I'm just saying, for somebody who don't believe in therapy, you sound like you would make a very, very good therapist.
No, I mean one of the things
Saying
about a therapist is I would need a therapist that's gonna talk to me. Like I respond differently if you're down to earth and you like, Lavish, what are you doing? Like, if I tell you something like, hey, I messed up, I did this. And instead of you trying to sound professional, you like, really, is you serious right now? Like, you need
that's
to get it together.
exactly how I talk to my patients.
See, I can relate more like that. I need some realness.
Hmm.
You know.
So you have to find somebody who I think what is it? What is the word that they say I am? When you can like when you just like you can sit down with somebody and you can judge what their personality is like within like the first like a good sense of is it character? Anyway, but yeah, I can sit down with somebody, and if I know you walk, because what I've done in the past is like just automatically assume because somebody says, I'm an attorney, I'm a banker, and then you automatically assume that they're gonna be, just uptight and always gonna um speak professionally all the time. But
Mhm.
everybody like if I was at the office in a board meeting with all the executives, I know how to speak professionally. But if I'm sitting down with my people, I feel like I can be myself. And
Hmm.
I also see a lot of teenagers. So teenagers connected with me because I'm like, bruh, like what you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I talk to my patients. So anybody out there in Houston who's gonna be looking for a psych MP, it's coming. Cause I'm telling you, I'm where you want to be.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
I think you would make a very, very good therapist. So just keep that,
Thank
or
you.
a mentor, maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking to be a mentor to the youth that want it, not even necessarily need it, but want it. Because I understand
Yes.
you can't change somebody that don't want to change.
Let's see. We're gonna run out of time. This is a long list. 72% of the remaining, this was after you said 98% of them don't mean what they say. 72% of the remaining is secretive, I guess you're saying. We're fully aware that numbers don't add up. That leaves you a 2% chance of, oh my gosh. You making it hard for us. You said that leaves a 2% chance of you ever finding your mate.
Okay, look, you know the song "Life" is by Life Jennings called "Statistics."
I don't think I'm gonna have to go listen to that. Too. I don't think I've ever heard
Yeah,
that.
I
I don't remember
changed
that.
his numbers. So his numbers made sense. He said like 15% of men, 15% of men, 20% of men. Then he said like the remaining 20, 10% are homosexual. So that leaves you with 10% of finding your mate. But me being, you know, who I am, I changed his numbers to more accurate. And I didn't want to put um the homosexual percentage out there like it was something derogatory I was trying to say against anybody. So I just put that emoji face. But
Got it.
where we
Got
at
it.
society wise, I mean, it does play a role. You know,
All right. I'm excited to get into these rules. Rule number one: don't be a booty call. If they don't respect you, then go on and forget. They're gonna forget
yeah,
you. If they don't respect you, they're gonna forget you.
yeah,
Okay. Rule number two: if they're in a relationship, if they will cheat on them, that means they will cheat on you.
I agree. Yeah.
Me too. But you don't think anybody ever stops cheating? Like you don't think because
Well, yeah, I stopped. Yeah, that was my story. I come from being a cheater. Like, I,
okay. Yeah, so I don't believe that if they once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't know if I
oh
necessarily
no, I didn't mean like that. I mean like
okay.
this. You ever heard that saying, how you got him is how you lose him? So it's like if I meet you and you got a man and I'm still entertaining you, and then you end up leaving your man for me. I think that if you would do it to him, you might do it to me, and like unless it was like an extreme case where he beating on you or something like that. But
And the
no, if you
majority of the time that is how it happens. I've seen it happen where, they worked the next time. But typically when that happens, when you see it when they were in a relationship with somebody and then they started cheating and then they ended up with the person they when they actually leave for that person, it's typically because that relationship was already over before they started. I don't believe that that woman necessarily or that man necessarily took anybody. I think that if they actually picked up their stuff and left, I think it was probably over before they left. But that's just my opinion.
I think that people aren't genuinely connected to each other anyway nowadays. So it's easy to go from person to person. So I agreed. I don't think that if I meet you and you got a man and then you end up cutting off things with him to be involved with me, to me the foundation between y'all wasn't solid. So yeah, it's not that you took somebody from anybody because y'all wasn't, a unit anyway.
And there are some people who will only date somebody that's in a relationship.
That's
You know,
fine.
yeah, there are some people who will only date somebody because they feel like um it's kind of more freedom from them. Like I ain't got to worry about you spending the night. You got to go home. Typically, you ain't asking me for nothing because you already got everything you
Oh
want
yeah,
there
that's
and you're
true.
married. Yeah.
That's
So it's a lot of people who will only date people because they know there is not going to be any commitment.
oh yeah, it's less responsibility to be that
Mhm.
side piece. Number two, you ain't gotta do all the work or put up with all the stuff that number one gotta put up with. So we get all the fun times with you. And then all the stress and headache stuff, yeah, that's what number one gotta
Yeah.
deal with. So yeah.
because and I've seen it happen many times where when one of them starts catching feelings that they shouldn't, like you got to argue, and you see it in movies, like like I can argue with my wife at home or my husband at home, like I ain't come over here to
Yeah, for
argue with
this.
you, because
Yeah,
in their mind it's like, just this is supposed to be my safe place, my happy place, my perfect
it's
place.
my escape. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how you can stay with somebody, because people that have been in relationships with other people for a long time. So I don't know how that could ever work. But all right, where were we? Rule number 3: tell them tell them that you're celibate, and if they want some of your goodies, they're gonna have to work for it. So tell them you're celibate, even if you're not celibate,
Yeah, just
or make yourself celibate for what? Like you got
um
90 days.
both. Both. I don't subscribe to a particular amount of days, but I do feel like that, especially, well, I've learned as a man too. I didn't used to value myself, so it didn't take much for me to lay down with a woman. Um, but one, if you respect your body, understand how important it is, you only get one. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you should make sure that somebody work for access to your body. So telling somebody that you're celibate, if they only want you for your body, that's gonna get them to go ahead and turn the other way real soon. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like for those two reasons, value your body, and understand that it's special, and you want to weed out those that ain't really trying to do nothing but get access to your body. So telling them that up front, if they don't BS, they'll probably, be like, oh, I'm good, or find a reason to, turn away.
Well, what about the person who is only you? Because that could be male or female. There are some people who, like I said, don't want to be in a relationship, but they may be looking for just that. Do you feel like that person lacks value for their body if I mean, I don't mean out here like just nilly really randomly just having sex with a bunch of people. Definitely don't agree with that. But what if you have somebody that has what they call a person, you know? And now the thing is, you can't trust, like, if that's not, I hope somebody hears this. If that person is your supposed to be person, you still only know what that person is doing when your person is in front of you. You still don't know if that person got another person. However, it's no different with marriage. At the end of the day, you really don't know what your spouse is doing. We just, we try to
Right.
trust anyway. So what about that person who is not in a relationship, doesn't want to be, but they choose to be intimate with somebody? Does that person necessarily lack respect or value for their body?
I'm not speaking on that. I'm not gonna judge nobody. To each his own. I feel like if you aren't out moving with the intentions of hurting nobody, do your thing. You still love yourself, and
And not the intentions of hurting yourself either, because we gotta, number one, you gotta be this initial protector of yourself.
yeah, it's like, what is your intentions? Like, if you're a person that's saying, look, I want to go out here and find love, then I don't think you should be involved with people just for the physical aspect of it, or give it, or so quick to give yourself to somebody. But if you just like, I just want the physical, and I understand what may or may not come with it, do your thing.
I agree. Um, and so another, like I said, I not only do I not want to be hurt, I don't want to hurt anybody. And even though people may say that they are genuinely looking for a relationship, I just like, I don't trust that they really are. So I'm gonna just chill for a while. All right, let's see. Rule number 4: be the person you want to find. Don't be a nickel out here looking for a dime.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Statistics: 95% of all men and women got a complex. 98% of all men and women don't practice safe sex. 87% of them come from homes without a father. And there's a 50-50 chance that you'll marry a coward. Something to think about when you're taking a shower. Something to swallow when you're drinking a bottle of water. I'm going to teach you how to expose the 98% and I wish I had this flyer, and show you what to do to keep the other 2%. So you're going to talk about these things at your upcoming.
Mm-mm.
It
I
sounds
was just
like
being funny. Like, I was just picking
this
at people.
needs to be a show.
But
Like
that's
you
that's an event I have coming up. So I was promoting the event using his lyrics, but adding a little twist to it.
okay, you need to work on this. Like you need to your next event needs to be like a mixer where you actually sit on the stage and yeah, like go through
You
these.
gonna come help
Dope.
us out? Be on the panel?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's set it up.
All right. Be patient. They're waiting. Let me tell you something. This is where we are going to disagree. And let me tell you why I disagree here because you have all of these, bloggers, vloggers,
Mhm.
TikTokers, realists, all of these people, these guys who get out here and they be like, um, girl, leave that man. Don't put up with that man. And men, don't you know that there's always somebody else in waiting? Like there's an ex that's been sitting back waiting. There's a neighbor that's sitting back waiting. Like they lead you to believe that girl, just go ahead and leave him. You gon' like as soon as you hit this, you a dime. Like as soon as you hit the streets, you're gonna have like all of these men just flocking over you. Girl, if you listening to me right now, don't fall for that shit. Do not fall for it because there are not that many men out here. Number one, they might, yeah, they'll come take you on a date. They'll hang out with you. But that many men looking for a commitment, don't you fall for that shit, baby.
Oh yeah, no, I agree too. That's what I was gonna say. So I'm glad you ended up saying it anyway. We're on the same page with that because yes, it's a whole lot of men waiting, but they not waiting to love you for you. You know what I'm saying? They waiting for access to your body or just to be able to spend some time with you. So it's a misleading statement that they putting out
Mhm.
there. And, you hype somebody head up thinking, yeah, my Prince Charming is out there waiting on me. And lo and behold, no, it's about 100 men that just want, something about you, and they're gonna go about their business. So yeah, don't be fooled thinking, yeah, he's out there waiting. I'm gonna run into him. No, yeah, I
Like
don't. That's why.
seriously.
Yeah, don't
If
look.
when I was, because I got married at 23 years old and I got divorced at 49 years old. And let me tell you, like when I was 23, 22, 21, all I had to be was cute. All I had to be was pretty. You know what I'm saying? And, softer back then. But it's not the same. Like guys, men, whatever generation, like pretty don't really excite or impress. I don't feel like pretty excites anybody. I don't even feel like sex really is like a determining factor the way it used to be. What do you think?
I agree because it's too much out there. Like it's a whole lot of pretty people, pretty women, handsome men. That's not gonna win you nothing. Sex is everywhere. It's too easy to get sex. So those aren't things of any substance. I think that for men, a lot of us don't even realize how much we need a woman to mentally stimulate us or nurture us. So that's not something we go into situations with women looking for. And then I think a lot of women don't realize that we need to be mentally stimulated. We need to feel at peace when we're around our woman. We don't get told this by the generations, before us. So again, we men, we go out there looking off looks, and there's so many people that got good looks now that it's like, yeah, they don't hold no weight.
No, people, I mean, and women, like most women, like we're gonna get our nails. My nails need to be done. I got like 3 nails left. We're gonna get our nails done, we're gonna get our hair done, people getting the whole like face beat. Like we're doing all of this stuff and everybody's doing it. Cosmetic surgery is like
Yeah.
at an all-time high. So yeah, like it pretty is not gonna do it. So I would tell any woman out there, I'm always gonna tell somebody to get you an education of some sort. It don't even have to be like a formal education. I don't care if it's some kind of trade. Here's something to make sure that you have some value. I'm always gonna tell females, especially when it comes into a relationship, you do still want to maintain some level of independence and being able to take care of yourself. Don't go in these relationships, because the man can fully take care of you and just be okay with that. Because I want you to be at such a point, if he ain't acting right and you want to leave, I want you to be able to do that. If you need to leave, especially when safety is involved or when your
Mhm.
happiness is just not there anymore, So many women are forced to stay in relationships at that point because you got just exactly what you wanted. You wanted somebody that was totally going to take care of you 100%. And now you don't have 50% of your own to go and take care of yourself. And you
Yeah,
set
I
yourself
agree.
up.
I
Mhm.
agree. Yep, sex, cooking, cleaning, looks. It ain't finna keep nothing together.
It doesn't.
I
It
would advise women to, if you're really into a man, you find yourself loving a man, find out how to be his safe space. I think most of us, especially myself, I can speak for, when I'm out in the world, I operate, I'm watching everything. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm on protective mode. Um, so with my woman, I need to be able to feel like I can take my armor off and just be vulnerable and relax and not have to worry about what I say. Not I'm gonna fly off the wall, say anything crazy, but I just want to. When you out in the world, you got to be cautious of what you're saying to people. So that's one less thing you want to worry about when you with your supposed person.
You're gonna
And
be
you just want to
vulnerable.
feel, yeah, you want to be, you got to be able to be vulnerable. So and mentally stimulated, like challenge me, make me think. You gonna because when you get to playing with chemicals in somebody's brain and stuff like that, like I think it builds these bonds, you know. So you can lose a limb, or your looks may fade, or you may lose the ability to have sex. But if you have me mentally locked in with you, none of that stuff matter anyway. My woman don't
So
cook. Like my woman, she don't cook at all. So it's not a factor though. Like, it's mentally she has me. And so it's like I see attractive women, I look right past them. It's like this, I'm good. I'm mentally locked in, spiritually locked in.
it makes such like being able to have a good conversation is so important to me because that's how you bond. That's how you remain connected to each other. And I also tell everybody, you can't wait until your kids are grown to start spending time together. When you start having children, and when you do have children, you have to make sure you are spending time with
Hmm.
not always a family, like just you and your spouse, your partner, or whatever, because you'll lose yourself otherwise, and then the kids get grown and they're gone, and now you got to relearn each other, as just husband and wife and not just co-parents that have
Hmm.
been living together, but really we just been taking care of these kids and working so hard. That's really the listen. When your kids leave, that is you gonna learn then whether
Yeah,
you can still make it, whether you were made to be, because it's just you and that person. And that if you ain't got nothing to talk about, and that was one of the things for me was I realized, dang, kids gone, I ain't got nobody to talk to. So that's very, very important because other things, like you said, may leave. We gain weight, uh, sex may become a problem, like things happen. You may have to, work extra. I don't know. Anything can happen. So you have to make sure that there is something always that's going to hold you together, and don't let it ever be based on just one thing. Like it needs to be a conglomerate of things that make your unit.
I agree with that. I think one of the vital things of a foundation should be, oh, are you my friend? Like, I need you to be my best friend, because
True.
that's something to where none of that stuff matters. The cooking, the looks, the sex, it don't matter. If you are my friend, and I know you are genuinely for me and you genuinely have a love for me, that's gonna carry us. No matter what we go through in life, I can always go back to that foundational thing right there. This is my friend right here.
All right, let me see. I thought I had saw a comment. All right, so that was a great conversation. I really appreciate you so much. Go ahead and tell everybody while I look for these comments again. Tell everybody about the event you have coming up.
On the 14th, which is actually Valentine's Day, I'm having singles and couples are welcome game night. I have a private location that I've booked. I'm gonna have bottles of wine, different type of lovey-dovey snacks like chocolate covered strawberries, pretzels, cakes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
We're gonna do like the icebreaker where we ask questions amongst the group, play a little Cupid matchmaking, do some speed dating. So it's really just to give people something to do. I know that, like in my group, I really feel like about 95% of people are single. So I don't want nobody to look up and be like, damn, it's Valentine's Day. I don't have a Valentine. Here I am in the house or somewhere by myself. And we're in a society where you're going to see love plastered everywhere. You can
Mhm.
still come out and have a good time and potentially find you somebody to entertain. You might find that 2%. Like, so that's what that's about.
So in the past, because I know back at home when events were thrown, and I'm from Mobile, like near the Mobile area. Back at home, the problem there was people would throw these, and I actually would have events, but like it would end up being mostly women. Men would not show up. So at your events, do you have a problem with that, or men and women equally? Maybe not equally, but you still have a good,
We get a nice
balance.
amount of our men. Yeah, I would say it's probably about 65% women. Um, Being as how you guys do make up the larger portion of the population, but the
Hmm.
men in our group, they do come out when we do our pool parties and our game nights. We actually did a matchmaking, like a pop the bloom session back
Really?
in August, and the men in the group really stepped. They showed up, participated. We had about 8 to 10 men come on stage and answer questions. So yeah, no, when it's time for the date and stuff, the men come out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll have to make sure I'm gonna be out of town. I'm gonna be, but I wish I was so I could have something to do.
No, we
All
definitely
right.
got some more things coming up.
Well, good. All right. Anything else you want to add before I start talking about next week? Go ahead. Anything else you want to add?
No, just if you're not in the group, join the group. Again, we're about uplifting each other, networking, coming together. We do lounge takeovers. We do family barbecues at parks. We do pool parties, brunches. We have people that connect for Bible study. So any way
Really?
oh yeah, yeah, you just gotta watch that wall. People be like, who wants to meet up for Bible study, or I'm going to try this church, or who wants to come to my church. Like, so for everything that you're into, not everything. We do not allow any drug promotions or any type of lifestyle stuff. No shade to nobody, but we try to keep everything PG-13. But no,
Hmm.
if you're looking, to find your tribe, just some associates, maybe even love, business connections, jobs get posted in there. Let me see, just informative information, and you'll see like uplifting posts along the wall. People drop prayers. It's some of everything. So if you're not in the group, I would definitely advise come on and join. As long as you're 21 and up and you're not bringing on negativity, you're welcome.
Cool beans, and it's fun too. It's definitely, and it's always active. I'm
Oh,
telling
yeah.
you. I think there was only maybe 8,000 people when I joined the group. I've never seen a group grow. That's got a blessing right there.
We thank God. Yeah. He got some work for us to do. So he's setting the stage for us.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. All right. So first, of course, I got to promote myself. So if anybody is interested, I am not only a podcaster, also a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. But what I love to do is I love to speak. And so I am a mental health speaker and also a women's empowerment speaker. So if you are looking to book a women's health, women's mental health, or any mental, I don't only speak to women, but I am a women's empowerment speaker as well. So if you're looking for any of those speaking topics, holla at your girl. You can reach me at 251-250-1740 or email journeywithtrish@gmail.com, or of course you can inbox one of these. And then next week's episode is going to be, well, actually, I'm not going to have an episode next week because I got something to do next week. That's why I won't be here for Valentine's Day. But on February the 17th, at 7:30 p.m. That will be my cosmetic surgery anniversary episode. I've been very transparent about it along this journey. And so, if you know anybody who is thinking about or has been through any type of cosmetic surgery, I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm gonna tell you about the depression, the scars. How I thought I was gonna just suddenly wake up with this perfect body, and how that turned out. It's a lot more to it than people lead you to believe. And so I'm gonna be transparent and tell you about that. So come on back that day for our next podcast. And I gotta figure out how to get that from up there. I can't figure around this screen and remove. All right, there we go. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight on Journey with Trish, the podcast. Houston, again, we'll be back on the 17th. As always, I'm gonna close us out in prayer. Thank you again, my guy, Lavish, for
Thank
coming
you for
on
having
here.
me. Anytime, anytime.
Definitely head over to the Houston Bosses and Baddies Facebook
Yes.
group. What is? Can you not live in Houston and be in the group, or is it only for
Oh
Houston?
yeah, no, we all over. Um,
All over.
I got some other ones branching out. We're gonna be doing the Atlanta, Boston, Batty, Chicago, we Dallas. So
Ah,
you don't have to be in Houston because we want people to be able to get a glimpse into Houston, even if they're not here. It's a tourist destination. People are constantly moving here.
mhm.
Anybody is welcome.
All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pray us on out. Wish everybody a good night. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we come to you as humbly as we know how tonight. God, we ask you first to forgive us for any sins that we've committed. And God, hear our prayers. God, tonight I want to thank you for Lavish. I want to thank you for his transparency and for the education and his willingness to be able to speak to someone out there tonight who may have gone through some type of emotional trauma when it comes to relationships or, childhood trauma or anything. And so for him to be a blessing tonight to share that with him, we thank you for him. And we ask you to continue to build his platform so that he can continue to reach more and more people and to be even a bigger blessing. God, we ask you and thank you to continue elevating him and furthering his purpose. And we ask you to do the same for myself and Journey with Trish, the podcast. Everybody out there, be safe. Thank you. We love you. God bless y'all. Good night.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, good night. Thank you.
No problem.